everyone, so welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about tips on how to travel with an animal, specifically how to fly with a cat, because when I was trying to do research on how to fly with my cat when I was moving to California from Ohio, I couldn't find much research out there, so I was like, you know what? When I feel more experienced, I'm going to make a video about this so that way I can help y'all out if you need help, or if you're just here for entertainment as well, that works. But anyways, I'm going to get right into the tips for you. I have traveled with my cat multiple times now, so I feel a lot more comfortable about it and being able to speak to you about it. And there are a few things that I feel like are really important to know before traveling with your pet to make it just more smooth and calming for both you and your animal. Okay, so my first tip is to get the right size carrier for the airline or the flight that you're flying, if that makes sense. So I have flown on Spirit Airlines with my cat Cheetah. I've also flown on, I think it was Delta was our first flight, and so I've flown a few different airlines before, and normally it's around the same size carrier that they ask you to keep it. They basically just want the carrier to be at a size where you can put it under the seat in front of you. But I would recommend looking up specific carrier sizes. I'll also link the cat carrier that I use to travel with, because I think it's so convenient. I can just put her on my shoulder and like just slide her under the chair in front of me, and I got it on Amazon, so I'll link that down below. But yeah, that's my first tip is to get the right size carrier. So my second tip is to call the airline that you're going to be flying beforehand. So when you book your flight, you kind of want to call them after you decide like what flight you're going to be on. You want to call the airline and or like chat with them. Sometimes they have like chat bots that work too, but just contact somebody like at their help center basically, and make sure that there's enough space on the plane before you book, because sometimes airlines, like I think Spirit allows 4 animals per like plane when traveling, so you just want to make sure that you and your animal are going to fit on the plane, because if they have too many animals on the flight, then you can't book your animal on the flight. So you just want to make sure of that before you book the flight, if that makes sense. So just call ahead of time and just be like, hey, I'm bringing my cat on so-and-so flight, can I add them to my ticket? And then they will talk you through, oh yes, like what's their size, like they ask you questions about them, like how much do they weigh, what cat breed are they, what's their name, how old are they, so questions like that, just general questions and everything. So my third tip is to get a medication called gabapentin. And you can also, I found out, my grandma told me that you could get this for humans as well, for like arthritis and stuff. But specifically, like call your vet or call a vet and get gabapentin for your animals. I've gotten the liquid version as well as the pill version. Personally, for me, I like the pill version just better because it's really small, and Cheetah, my cat, tends to take pills better for me. But it's up to you, like what you get. I also recommend the pill version just because the liquid version needs to be refrigerated, so when traveling with the liquid version it's more complicated, and also traveling with liquids is just more complicated. So I recommend getting the pill version if you can. That's the version that I use to travel with her and everything, and it's basically just medication that calms them down. It's like honestly probably the #1 thing to do when you're traveling with an animal, I feel like, because it just calms them down and gets them to a point where it feels safer traveling with them, if that makes sense. Especially if your like animal gets stressed out in car rides or like traveling in general, then I for sure recommend getting gabapentin when flying, because that can make it even worse for them. So and for Cheetah, it just basically she's a little older, she's 16, so it basically just calms her down even more, and she's like sleeping all the time, so it's great. So my fourth tip is, I wrote these down so I'm like looking at it, is to bring grocery bags. So this is one thing I like kind of didn't like concentrate on the first time traveling with her, but now after the last time I traveled with her, we had a few accidents happen, so I was so grateful that I had these grocery bags with me, and I brought, I think it was like four or five grocery bags in her side of her carrier. My fifth tip, it goes along with this, so my fifth tip is to bring puppy pads and kind of line the carrier, because accidents happen, especially traveling like our flight is like 5 hours normally from Ohio to California and California to Ohio, like flying back and forth, normally 5 hours. And sometimes with Cheetah, if she like gets like a little nervous or anything, or just needs to go to the bathroom, like it's gonna happen. So I recommend puppy pads. I brought like 5 puppy pads. You can like cut them too to make them fit the carrier better. But I always bring puppy pads, and then that way when she has an accident, then I kind of just hold her in my arm, up to you on how you do it, but for her, she's normally very knocked out from the gabapentin, so I normally just hold her in my arms, and then like I clean her up. Like if we aren't on the plane yet, then I go in the bathroom and do this, just so people like aren't looking at me like crazy in the airport. But I just clean her up, and then I put the puppy pad in the grocery bag, like round it up, and then if you're in the bathroom, then throw it away. If not, if you're like me and were you on the plane when this happened, I kind of just like shoved it in the side of her bag after I round it up in the grocery bag, and it normally doesn't smell as bad when it's in the grocery bag, so that's good. My sixth tip goes along with this, I guess, too, but my sixth tip is bring hand sanitizer. I had like 2 hand sanitizers, like the Bath & Body Works hand sanitizers, and I used both of them like fully, so I recommend bring hand sanitizer, because also if you get one that like kind of smells but like not too strongly scented, that works good, because when they go to the bathroom like in the plane, it can be very smelly, and I feel so bad for like the people sitting around me. So when I put on the hand sanitizer, I feel like I'm like, I don't know, helping the scent and helping those around me. So I recommend hand sanitizer, puppy pads, and grocery bags for sure. Oh, speaking of, there she goes. And so then I think we're on 6th or 7th tip, I'm not sure. My next tip though is to bring a collapsible water dish, or like a water dish in general, but I bring a collapsible one so it can fit easily on the side of her carrier more. And so I bring that just because like I also bring normally a little extra food as well on the side of her carrier, or treats, and I always have like a water bottle with me that I use. So I use the collapsible thing because I feel like also Cheetah drinks like a lot, which, you know, probably causes her to go to the bathroom more, but I don't want her to be dehydrated. So I'd rather her go to the bathroom and be sustained than like be dehydrated, if that makes sense. So I bring a collapsible water dish, and I fill it up with water if I think she's getting thirsty, or after like a few like an hour, like every hour, I think, around there. I don't know, I don't really time it, I just kind of feel her vibe. And then I give her water, and then sometimes I give her food and everything. But yeah, I recommend bringing collapsible water dish or some type of dish, because yeah, if they're like thirsty and hungry and trapped in the carrier, like I'm sure they're not having a good time. Okay, my next tip is to bring a leash. I actually didn't bring a leash last time I traveled with Cheetah, but I feel like it's important, especially for like very adventurous type cats or playful cats. Cheetah's just a very mellow cat, so she will like stay by me like always, but I I recommend bringing a leash. It felt better to have her on a leash when I was going through security, for example. So bring a leash. Also, that way if they ever want to walk around or anything, you have a leash there and you're not just like letting them walk around. Okay, I lost track of how many I've told you at this point, but my next tip is to, if you have a cat specifically, I don't know about dogs, what's like the equal to this, but bring catnip. Catnip not only calms them down, but it just gives them something playful to do that's not needing space, if that makes sense. Like they can like go crazy with the catnip, but like in their carrier. So I don't know, I always bring catnip for Cheetah because after she like plays with it, then she tends to like take a very long nap. So yeah, that's my other tip, because it also helps calm them down and everything, gives them something to do. So bring some catnip. My next tip is to check on your pet often. I am a little scared of flying. I'm actually very scared of flying. So I love having Cheetah there with me. I feel like less alone. So I'm always checking on her. But you don't probably need to check on her that often. But I recommend checking on her often. She's normally always sleeping. So not much going on. But I think it's good to just check on them to see, make sure they're doing okay. That goes along with my next tip, is to just stay calm, and your cat will kind of reflect that. At least Cheetah does for me. If I'm like starting to freak out or anything like that, then she'll become more anxious, because I feel like she feels that I'm a little anxious. So yeah, just stay calm and your pet will be more calm as well. Also, my next tip is to, when you check on them, I always tend to pet her or just kind of comfort her in a way, just to like give her some reassurance that you're still there. Because if she's like under the seat the whole time, I feel like since she's not able to see like my face a lot of the time, then I don't know, that might be more scary, you know. She's like, whoa, where am I, what's going on, you know, where's my mom? And so just being able to like look at her and like pet her, I feel like gives her a lot of reassurance and everything, and calms her down as well. Another tip, second to last tip, I swear I'm almost done, but is to, especially for dogs, I feel like this is easier because they always have like the pet areas. Specifically for dogs, for cats it's a little more difficult. They have like pet relief stations. I've never gone to a pet relief station just because like I'm scared there's gonna be like a lot of dogs there, and I'm not sure how Cheetah will react. And yeah, but I know they have pet relief stations, but just be able to give your animal just space sometimes will help. I tend to find like a nice space in the airport. LAX can be difficult because it's really busy, but sometimes I fly out of Ohio or Michigan, and those airports are a little less busy, so it tends to be more easier to like find a space in the airport where there's not a lot of people, and I'll just kind of like give Cheetah some space, put her on leash, and like have her chill there and everything. They tell you to like not take your cat out of the carrier and stuff, but honestly everyone does it. And you're fine. Like worst case is somebody comes up to you and they're like, hey, can you put your cat back in? And you're like, yeah. But I've never had that experience. But yeah, just give them space. With Cheetah, I hold her. Sometimes I let her walk around if I have her leash. But yeah, just be able to give them space to like stretch their legs, because don't want them trapped in there for like so long, because then I feel really bad. And then my last tip or thing that I would want to say about this is one thing that I like did not sincerely think about that would have been really useful to think about before. So they have you put your animal under the seat in front of you. So like if you have a personal item or like a carry-on, technically, because they count as your personal item is another thing. So they count as your personal item, so you'll need to add a carry-on to your flight. So when you have a carry-on type bag, like with Cheetah, when I flew with her, I had backpack and then her the first time, and I don't know why, but I thought, oh, I could just put them under under my seat in front of me, but I forgot how to put her there. So I put her under the seat in front of me, and then just be vigilant that you'll most likely have to put your personal or carry-on item up above you, so all you have is like your animals. So I tend to just take out my phone and my AirPods, maybe like a book or something, just for the flight, and then I put my backpack up in the space for the bags, and then Cheetah in front of me. So yeah, all I have is like my phone for the flight, which is fine, but like just stay aware of that. But one thing I found that a way around this is with Spirit. I booked something called Spirit Comfy, I think it was called, and that the middle seat is like empty, so I put Cheetah in front of my seat, and then in front of the seat that's empty I put my backpack. So I was able to have my backpack there and Cheetah. But that's the only way I found around that. But yeah, just a heads up that you will need to do that as well. And I don't know why, but I wasn't thinking that the first time, so I was like, oh shoot, I have nothing to do, and I didn't even bring my phone out, but then I got it eventually. Long story, but that's my last tip. I hope it wasn't super boring of a video, but I hope you found it helpful. You were looking for tips on how to travel with your animal. I just know when I was about to travel with Cheetah, there wasn't like much information I could find out there, so yeah. Anyways guys, like, subscribe, comment down below if you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!
ShayJVlogs.